When I was in private practice, I was doing well. The practice was growing. I was busy. And sat one day, man, another second encounter. I'm sitting one day and I feel like I can't do this for the rest of my life.
Sure.
Like I'm just sitting. I've got a very thriving practice.
Yeah.
Working really hard. But I'm sitting one day, I'm thinking,
Is this it?
this can't be all to me. Like, like when that feeling is
there's
that
something
intense.
in there.
It's
It's like,
I really
there's
can't
no
do
way.
this for the rest of my life.
Hello, Wisdom and Wellness family. This is a special episode. This person I'm sitting next to, I don't know how much he knows that he's changed my life completely. And I'm speaking about Dr. Tumi. So how and when did you find music again? Because I know you have an album that like nobody knew.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, there's this guy. And that time, one gospel was like the thing. That's just every second song.
Yeah, no,
it's you.
man,
No
that's
other
crazy.
God. Yeah, no other God is like the first one I think I
Yeah.
saw. But yeah, when did you re-find your passion?
So I'm doing my medical. I was a medical officer at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing my community service, right? And I am sitting, and then I see an album online, right? And then I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to order this album.
Whose album?
Donald Lawrence.
Okay. Oh yes.
Yeah. So I ordered Donald Lawrence's album, and because I couldn't find it anywhere local, I heard one song in passing, and I
Was it
thought,
still CDs?
yeah, it was still CDs.
Hello, we need context. She's like, can't find it anywhere.
CDs faded 2-3 years ago, right? It's
yeah.
not been that long.
It's actually so wild.
Yeah, like music had closed 2-3 years ago. COVID like messed it up. So I order this CD and then get posted, and I drive from work. I get a text that actually they were sending slips. I got a slip in the morning in the post, and then I go to work and I knock off from work. I get to the post office. I pick up this package. I open the CD, put it in the CD player. I'm driving to the house. It's literally a 4-minute drive. First song. I'm thinking, what? I'm thinking, this is crazy, man. I'm driving, so I get to the driveway and I park at the driveway. I'm sitting in the car, I can't get out. I listened to the whole album from first song to the last song.
Yeah.
And I thought, nah. Am I going to do this for the rest of my life?
No way, something's
There's no
missing.
way. And I thought, okay, let me start writing. Okay,
Just like that. So that album just...
that was a proper trigger, man.
Sure.
And I got to become friends with Donald Lawrence. We talk a lot, and
I just got to become friends with Donald
no,
Lawrence,
no.
the person who made me go back to music. Okay.
I was not going there, but but yeah. So I got to tell him the impact he had in my life. He literally saved my life, and my journey. 'Cause it is at that point I knew that, man, I must write again.
There's more, yeah.
And I started writing, and so I did that first album, but it was because of that. So it's him. It's another person who made me think I would do music was probably Fred Hammond. So
Fred Hammond. Okay, yeah.
So him and Fred Hammond probably
the most
played
complicated people under the music sun.
Yeah. I got introduced to Fred Hammond when I was doing my first year in varsity.
Okay. Were you a cat?
No.
In music, there's my cats.
I don't know.
You can't touch cats.
No, I don't know.
You're not a cat. Okay.
No, it's true, man. I was doing my own thing in my own corner. I was, but I played throughout my varsity years in the
So you were a
SCF.
cat.
So I was like,
You're a cat.
I became the head of music there. But that album literally changed my life. But also, it was just not
What was the name of that first album?
my album.
Yes, your first
Heart
album.
of the King.
Is that the one that had No Other God?
No.
No.
So that album is actually my second album. So
Okay.
so the one you're talking about that nobody knows about.
Nobody knew
it's called
about.
Heart of the King. That's the
Okay.
album I wrote after I had that experience of that
With
album.
Donald, and nobody really heard it.
Nobody had it. I didn't have anybody to hear it.
Okay, so you just
So I
recorded
recorded it, I kept it, and called a couple of people, asked them, do you know anybody that could distribute music? Call musicians, who were doing well at that point, who had an experience of being around and Like, nah, nobody would.
No one
can
gave you a
tell
chance.
Now, at that point, I felt like, yeah, you all are not helping me. Like,
Yeah,
you connected to people, but
sure.
I think growing up, I then realized at this point, I said at a point where I realized nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. Like, you must not be entitled to people's experiences, connections, nothing.
That's
Nobody
a
owes you.
hard, liberating fact.
Yeah, like, and so I'm mad at nobody.
So you didn't get mad at anybody. You were just like, look.
I'm mad at nobody, like literally, because then I realized my journey was not dependent on them. They cannot take credit for it. They cannot say, I made you.
Yeah, I made you, yeah.
Like, you know. But yeah, it's a liberating thing.
Yeah.
But also to know that God has our path set, man. Like, I depend more on God than I depend on man. Like, I don't care for contacts. I don't care for that. I care for just being directed by God, what to do next. And so it's why I don't really get afraid of taking big steps in life.
Yeah.
Because I always think,
If you put me here, you'll sustain me.
I've got a lot of testimonies that carried me through life to this point that I am.
I want to go back to that album because it didn't make it, right? And you obviously had a career that was thriving on its own. At that point, and now, at that point, what do you think was the purpose of it? What did you think was the goal of it? Was it to impact people, or was it to restore you back to music? And now, so it's two questions.
Yeah.
And now looking back, what do you think was the purpose of that first album that no one ever cared to hear?
So that album, literally, okay, so I was triggered to write that album.
Yeah.
And did a whole production. It was my first solo production, basically. I'd done one with Intense years before and wrote the songs, partly produced, worked with somebody. So this I sat through and I literally conceptualized everything about. And I had the album and I was very happy. Like, you know, when you've got something, you think, I did good,
I did it,
man.
yeah.
I did good. And nobody would help me get it out, which is fine. And so I sat with it. I was happy. And then I went back and I went to private practice.
So you're just like,
Yeah. So it was like, oh, that's done. Like,
praise the Lord, happy, let's.
next thing. And then I went
what
to
a
private
spirit.
practice.
Yeah.
So went to private practice, and when I was in private practice, I was doing well. Practice was growing. I was busy, and sat one day, man. Another second encounter. I'm sitting one day, and I feel like I can't do this for the rest of my life.
Sure.
Like, I'm just sitting. I've got a very thriving practice.
Yeah.
Working really hard.
Seeing like 100 people a day.
Yeah. So, like, you know, but I'm sitting one day. I'm thinking,
Is this it?
this can't be all to me. Like, you know, like when that feeling
Yeah,
is
there's
that
something
intense.
in there.
It's
It's like,
I really
there's
can't
no
do
way.
this for the rest of my
Yeah.
life. And I had very loyal patients who'd come really, you know. I was at that point where
What kind of person is loyal to a doctor? How sick are those people?
they will not go to anyone else.
Okay, I get
like,
it.
so if you're
If
not
such-
there,
Yeah.
you've got a session doctor working.
Okay, then
They're gonna say, when is he coming?
Look, I'd rather die.
I'd rather die.
Waiting for
It
my
must be
doctor.
him, or I'd rather
Yeah.
die. So, so, and I mean, I'll do house visits at that point. I had
Sure.
some really old patients who
Yeah.
could not even come, that we built relationship over years. So I'd travel to their houses, and some of them would call you in the middle of the night, like, you know, and my practice was in Mabopane, so I'd drive. I was staying in Pretoria North at that point. Drive there and go see them in the middle of the night, get ambulance, like, so it was hectic.
Yeah.
But it was good, it was fulfilling.
Yeah.
Until that very day. And nothing happened. Like, nobody came to me. I had no music. I had no trigger, except I sat in that room and thought, I can't do this. This can't be this can be all of it.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
There's definitely more to me. And then, like, I got triggered again to start writing. And that's when I wrote that album. So, but I knew something was wrong because I started going to work late. I knew that, okay, I'm not so happy.
Yeah.
Like, I get
There's a
there late,
disconnect.
and you walk in, the practice is full.
And you should be happy because you own the practice, right?
Yeah, and you're walking and it's full. Like, it's like coins everywhere.
And you're just
money.
stressed. And you're just like,
I'm thinking, no, I can't do this. So I started having a session doctor work more often, and people would complain, no, why aren't you coming? So the days that I actually do go, they're even extra packed now. Like, now I get there like 8. I leave there at 9 in the evening. So it's like intense. And then I have admin work to do. I need to do claims, medical. Oh, it was just
a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, I could have managed the time better, and
Yeah, but I think
but I just felt empty.
I mean, when I left accounting, I was reading a book. I forgot what it's called, but it's a book by T.D. Jakes. And there's a line, one specific line that I'll never forget, is that when God wants to kick you out of a place, he will ruffle the feathers, like the same way with birds. When the mother bird's about to kick the baby bird out, he will ruffle the nest to make it uncomfortable until the baby has to fly and to leave. So that's those days when you go and you're just like, the money is just not even worth it anymore.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's God literally kicking you out.
That's one of the biggest lessons in life. Money is not joy.
No.
It really isn't.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you make.
It's not. Money's nice though, but it's not everything.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Actually, I think my detachment from money was from a point that I don't want to do anything because of money. There's something about walking within your purpose that comes with so much provision within that space. Like, so when you're really doing what you're called to do, you're operating in your highest frequency, and you literally are, for the lack of a better word, are just gonna boom, whether you like it or not.
I had a conversation with the lady yesterday, and she was talking about exactly what you're talking about when you like aligned, right? And she said someone told her a story about her that person's understanding of what happened in the Garden of Eden. And when they ate from the forbidden tree, right? When God said to Adam, where are you? It's not that God couldn't see Adam, because God is all seeing, right?
Yeah.
But it's just that from a spiritual level, Adam had descended, right? And so he needed to go back to that spiritual place. So that's why God was like, where are you? And I think for us, when we finally align and move within where God has set us, it's when we, at that spiritual level where we fully see God, he sees us, there's that alignment that I can't even explain it, that dependency. Like, you can't go on stage without God because you're scared of people, but you need him. And when he comes in, by the time you get on stage, it's magic because you're fully dependent.
Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, I don't care for aesthetics on stage. Like, it's one of those things in my head. I don't go on stage and feel like I need to do a lot.
Yeah, it's just,
like,
you just want your mic and to sing.
Yeah, like I literally just get on stage and not care.
Yeah. You're still a perfectionist though, but I get you. Well, it's skill meets.
Yeah, but care in terms of, I don't care what crowd it is. I don't adjust myself to a crowd. So I don't get into a place and think, oh, it's this type of a crowd, so I need to do this.
Sure.
I do the same thing consistently every single time, because that's the best of me you can get.
Sure.
If you want somebody else who's going to do something else, by all means, call them. So I've gone to odd places where I thought, they don't even speak English, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I'll sing an English song that I sing
That's
everywhere.
just who I am.
That's just who I am. And you'd be so shocked. I've gone to Caribbean places where they've not even heard any of the songs I do, because it's like they're consumed with American music or their own music. And
you're not changing.
You'd be so shocked at how much they find that refreshing.
Sure.
Just you get there. I mean, I went to a place and I was just visiting in passing. A friend of mine said, let's go. We went past a church. It was a Caribbean church and nobody cared for it. And nobody knew me, like whatever. We got into that place. I sang one song. When I left, so there was some African people there for some reason. So they made noise about it. And now you told their pastor. The pastor said, he was not there. He's like, I must get this guy to come back. So they literally booked me for a whole set on a Sunday, no church. It was just, and they packed that place up. Man, it was amazing. It was such a beautiful experience. But by the time I was done with that, we were able to move from that, which is like maybe 200 people, to the next show that we did there, which was about 3,000, 2 nights in a row within a period of a month. Because the Caribbean community just came together and said, we need to get him back again. But Had I tried to do what they do, then be who they are,
Yeah,
I would have been another guy.
yeah, it's
And
inauthentic.
it would have
You
been
can't move in
fine.
that.
Like, oh, it's nice. Yeah, you did well. Some African guy. Like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, because it's odd. Like when you go overseas, they expect you to come and do. I don't. I
You're
wouldn't
not
even
trying to
know where to
dance.
start. I can't
No, you.
dance to save my life. So, but
Sure.
like being authentic is key.
Where do you find? Have you always had that confidence of, I just show up as me, and that's enough? Because that's another level of operating
Yeah.
where, like, you have a lot of self-worth.
Yeah.
Where you just know that whether I impress you or not.
But that's the thing. It's not even. I don't think I got to that point where I thought. Oh yeah, I think I got to the point where I think God made me this way, man. Why do I want to change it? Like I thought, can I just be who God made me to be and just enjoy that space? And it comes with so much power with backing, and it's crazy. It's crazy when you just being who God made you to be, because like then He carries you. You don't carry yourself, so it's like just leaning. It's a life of leaning. Totally.
Leaning.
Where I'm like, I'm gonna lean on you to do this.
Yeah.
So, one of the things when I do events, like,
Yeah.
one of the very first conversations I had with God was, nobody knows me.
Yeah.
Nobody would care to come to my event. When I did my first recording, it was very genuine.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to do this. I'm going to put all resources I can into it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do everything I can to market it. But nobody knows
Nobody
me.
knows that you're just the doctor.
But I'm just being obedient and available, right? So I was like, and then God took me to a scripture. It's in, I'll never forget it. It's in Kings. And it speaks about the wife of a prophet, who the prophet died, and he was left with his sons, and they had a debt.
Oh, yes.
And when the prophet came, he says to her, what can I do
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah.
And what do you have? He says, I have a little oil and flowers and he actually says to her, go collect vessels, right? And she collects all the vessels from the neighbors, and then she starts pouring.
And then
And it
just,
hit me like, it's that little oil.
That's it.
And then God literally spoke to me in a way that made me understand what He meant by vessels. It's like, every venue to me is like a vessel. Just bring it to me. I'll
Just
fill it
bring the
up.
oil. Yeah.
I'll fill it up. And I'm going to use exactly what I've already placed in you to fill these places up. I'm like, okay, we're good. Let's go.
Let's go.
And I did the first place. So my very first show that I did had about it was a 500 seater. I didn't know. 500 people is a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
don't-
No, it's a lot of people.
When you're starting off, it's
A lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm starting at this venue. It's a 500 seater. I'm thinking, that's crazy.
Where am I going to
Where
find
am I
them?
going to get 500 people? You know, I went to a church, there are 3,000 people. I'm thinking, maybe people from my church would come. It wasn't
That's
a
not
lot
how
of
it
people.
works.
It's not how it works. But that place was sold out. Like crazy. It was sold out.
And you obviously don't know how. You just know that
I don't know how.
yeah.
Like, so I get a lot of people think, yeah, tell us about your strategy. I'm like, can I just be honest?
it's no strategy. The strategy is God, yo.
I'm winging this thing. I'm just going by
I get it
the
so
leading
much.
of the Holy Spirit, as you know, and then they think that you just you don't want to give the
you're
details.
being selfish.
I'm like, I'm really giving you the details. I can tell you the other things I do.
Yeah.
But I can tell you for a fact it's not those things that really make it happen. I'll do everything everybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody puts out posters. Everybody goes on billboards. Everybody does
Visits churches.
ads.
Yeah.
Everybody, everybody plays influencers. You do everything that everybody does, but it's not that. Because if it was that, everybody else would then get to the very same point that you get to. So it's not. So there must be something else beyond the normal stuff. So,
leaning.
I went into that dependence mode where, like, God, I'm gonna trust you to fill vessels. So. And then my fear for vessels disappeared. So when I did the dome, at that point, I thought, oh, it's another vessel, right? I'm bringing the vessel
So that
to you.
10,000 versus 500, it's the same
20.
vessels. Oh, yeah, 20,000.
It was
20,000.
such an odd move because we did, if
I
you
was
remember, we
nervous
did
for you.
a month and a half.
Yeah.
Within a month. from announcing it, rehearsals to the recording.
Yes,
So
yes,
about
yes. It was a month.
Yeah. So from the day that I announced, I have now I can announce ahead of time. But that was like a very spur of the moment
Yeah.
thing. Like, let's do that.
That's a
And
very
I'm glad I
weird
did,
spur
'cause
of
the
the
place is
moment.
like gone.
Yeah.
Now you can't do it.
You've got the
It's probably
band.
the last show one of the last shows that happened there.
Sure.
So then it got sold because we went into COVID and then it got sold. But it's just another vessel.